Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back into my kitchen that I'm calling this area Tea Time with Diane. Tea time talk, conversation, chit-chat time, whatever we want to talk about. Oh my gosh, what have I been doing since I talked with you last? Well, couple little things, and it's been a few days, it really has. Not last Friday, but the Friday before, I took a bad fall. Yeah, I did. I was coming out of a restaurant that I go to all the time. Husband was with me on this side. I have my purse in my right hand. I had my sunglasses on because it was 6 o'clock at night, and the minute you came out of that restaurant, the sun just was beating right at you. It was very bright. And I had a fortune cookie that I was finishing. Yep. And I just was walking along, minding my own business, really. And all of a sudden, my left leg went just kind of like a zigzag. It felt like a wet noodle, you know, it just kind of in and out, and down I went. Luckily, husband was on the other side that caught most of the fall because I thought, sure, I was going to go head first down on that asphalt. And I don't know, you know, hit my chin first, my mouth, maybe break my left arm. I wasn't quite sure, but I took the most of the impact with my leg and my knee. So there I am down on the ground because the speed bump that I was falling over was not painted where you could see it. It was all black asphalt. It just blended in with the asphalt, and I didn't see that. Nope. So let me tell you more about my week that I've had, a couple of weeks here. Let me pour myself a cup of tea. Today I am going to have some cranberry loose tea. Yeah, this has been quite an experience, and it always is when you're older and you fall, because you're not really sure kind of what's going on. You know, down I went, and when I walked out of the restaurant, there's nobody around. You know, it's just a parking lot with cars. But the minute I fall, all these people come, and I don't even know where they came from, but they did. And there was a nice man, big man, had his wife with him. And all he said to me was, "Gosh, man, you took a big fall. Are you all right?" "No, I don't think I am. I'm down here on the ground and I haven't got up yet." He goes on into the restaurant. Yeah, he did. Okay, then another, out of the blue, I don't know. I didn't really see the man. I just saw the woman. This lady came over, this blonde lady came over, and she says, "May I help you to your vehicle?" I said, "Yeah, I'd really like that." And she said, "Okay, let me grab you here." And she grabbed my arm on this side, got me up with my husband, went just a few steps down the parking lot there and got in the truck. And that was an effort, getting in the truck, because they set up high. And she had this accent. Finally I said, "Ma'am, where are you from with that accent?" "Holland." "Yep, Holland." Nice lady. Then she says, "I'm going right in the restaurant and get you some ice, bag of ice." I said, "You know, I think I'll take you up on that," because now the whole knee was, I could tell, starting to swell. There was a burning pain all the way down my leg and to my foot. I thought, oh great, I've really messed this knee up, haven't I? Here she came back with the ice. Her husband was so worried about me. Yep. So to make the long story short is, yes, we go over to the emergency room. Husband has the truck and a long trailer because we were going to get the wood, the materials to build my chicken run. Try parking a great big 14-foot long trailer at an emergency room parking lot. It's not easy. Okay, I get in there, I wait forever, of course. They gave me 2 Tylenol for the pain. And they did 3 x-rays. I did get to talk to the doctor, the on-call doctor, and he said, "Well, it's not broken." But he says, "I think you've pulled some things in there." And he wanted me to go home, and of course, wear a brace if I had one, which I do. And then I was to see my primary doctor. Okay, Monday rolled around, and I self-doctored myself. Do this anytime you have a break and it's the weekend. I went to bed for 2 days. I elevated it for 2 days, and I kept ice on it for 2 days. Then Monday rolls around. My primary doctor's office calls me. Yeah, they got the report from the emergency room, and they'd like to see me. Great. Okay. Because my doctor specializes in sports medicine anyway. He sees breaks and injuries all the time. All right, so I get over there, and he says, yeah, you didn't break the bone, luckily. But he said, you irritated the heck out of my ACL, and I bruised the bone and pulled some ligaments. So yeah, he wanted me to stay in my brace for a couple of weeks and use my cane. I said, I've been using more than my cane. I've been on my walker. I really have. So that I've been kind of babying. I really have. But I was getting over that. This week rolls around, and it was go out to lunch with my lady friends. Okay. I was all for doing that too. But a whole week goes by that I had to baby this leg. I really did, before I even saw my lady friends. So I have to kind of back up. I lost a couple of days in there. I really did. So first I had the speed bump injury. Then I had, my older brother came to see me. Yeah. Now he's quite a bit older than me. He really is. He's about 12 years older than me. And he was back in town here for his 60th class reunion. And so him and his wife, they decided they wanted to spend an afternoon with me, a full day, an afternoon with me. Great. And I had a plan, an agenda. Yeah. So I was to pick him up at his hotel at 10:30 in the morning. And then we were headed straight to Palisade to get him some peaches because he wanted some peaches. Okay. Of course, I had to stop off, and I saw my good friend Sharon George, with the her ball fruit stand, and she gave me a nice box of chicken food, which is things that she can't sell at her fruit stand, like if they fall on the ground for whatever reason, maybe they're bruised, whatever. I got some peaches from her, and of course some corn, and my chickens love the corn, they really do. Okay, so then we left there, and I went to, of course, to get the peach ice cream cone. We did that. And then we come back to my house. So I'm in the back seat with his wife, Paulette. And lovely lady, really. And so I'm back there with her, and I made my brother sit up front. And husband's driving the car. And so we get like one house before mine. And I said, well, we're almost where I live. And we turn to go into the driveway. And we have to wait for our automatic gate now. And so I'm in the back seat looking at my big brother. And his eyes went just like that. Now, I don't know what that meant, other than I think he was kind of shocked at the entrance coming into the house and all the flowers, you know, all my stuff that I put around the yard. So that made me feel good. It really did. We had a wonderful little visit. We really did. I mean, he videoed in my house. He videoed outside like he was taking a walk around my yard too. But it was a good talk. It really was. When I dropped him back off at the hotel, and you know, we get emotional. He starts to tear up. I start to tear up. I got back in the car, and there was just something in me that said, I don't think I'm ever going to see my brother again. Ever again. He lives clear out in California. I live in Colorado. Yes, a lot of time has gone by. 20 years have gone by. We couldn't believe it, either one of us, but it's been that long since we've seen each other. And we actually just picked up right where we left off. That was nice too. So we had a good talk, nice time, took some pictures, and okay, so I got that done and rested my legs some more. And then, like I said, it was time to, I have to back up. I have to back up on one thing that his wife, her name's Paulette. I have to back up on one thing that she said. She's Czechoslovakian, but apparently she lived in New York for a long time, so she has that accent. And sometimes she says a word that I'm not used to living in the West at all. It's an Eastern term. And she did it years ago. They came to see me when my kids were really, really little. In fact, my third was just a baby, I think. And I had fixed dinner, was in the kitchen cleaning up from dinner and starting to do the dishes. We didn't have a dishwasher. Lots of houses I lived in didn't have a dishwasher. And she said, I'll dry. Okay. And I said, all right, that's fine. I said, you'll find a clean tea towel right down there in the drawer. I didn't think anything about it. She kind of hesitated a moment. She kind of looked around. She had that puzzled look on her face. And I was busy, washing the dishes. So finally, I looked at her and I said, did you find a tea towel? And she looks at me and she says, I don't know what a tea towel is. Sure. She didn't know it was called that. And I said, it's right down here. And I reached down to get a clean tea towel. Oh, you mean a hand towel? I thought, no, I really mean a tea towel. But that's not what they called it. They called it a hand towel. Well, to me, growing up in the West, in Colorado, a washcloth is a cloth to wash your face. A hand towel is to wipe off your hands. And a bath towel, of course, is a bath towel to dry your whole body. I didn't know that a hand towel back east was what we call a kitchen towel or a tea towel. That was one of them. Then I had my grandmother. I can't remember how old she was at the time. She was up visiting us that summer too. And she asked one of my kids to go in the front room there and grab her grip and bring it to her. And that was another word that Paulette had never heard of. What was a grip? A grip is a piece of luggage. It was usually, back then, it was the square, nice Samsonite, folded up like this, and they had a little tray in them, and that's where the ladies kept all their makeup, just essentials for getting ready for bed or waking up in the morning. That was called a grip. And she didn't know what that was. Well, she kind of floored me when she came in the house, and of course she loved everything about it. She says, you're just so me with the chickens, the roosters, all of that. And we get outside, and I was showing her the tree out front. And it has my little gnomes that go all up the tree, little climbing gnomes. And she says, everything is just so wonderful. It's like Better Homes and Gardens. She says, all your little tchotchkes. I had to sit there a minute, and I thought, tchotchkes. And she said it like 3 different times at different things, like in the house or out in the yard. That's very good. That cranberry is very good. So I let it go for a little while. After they left, after I dropped them off and all that, I'm on my phone looking up tchotchkes. Yeah, I was. I go out to lunch with my ladies. We're having a wonderful time because one of them is back from her month trip that she went to Germany to visit her sister. And I asked how long her sister lived in Germany, and she said about 26 years. That's a long time. And she was, because I first started out, I said, okay, Debbie, I said, I want to hear all about your trip. Tell me the good, the bad, and the ugly. She said there really wasn't any ugly. And then she just kind of told me all the differences between living in a country like that versus living in America. And in between all the other conversations that we had, I did bring up about my brother and seeing him. And I brought up about the tchotchkes. And the gal sitting right next to me, her name's Rhonda. She's new at joining our group. She's been around and she's been to Germany and everything else. And she says, and did you know what that was? I said, no, I had to look it up. And Debbie's right across from me. And she's looking at me like, I don't know what that is either. I said, it's a trinket. It's a knick-knack, as we would call it back here, or a foo-foo. All just little trinkets of some kind is a tchotchke. Okay, it was so much fun. Another 3-hour lunch with my ladies. Yep, because we talked about all kinds of things. We really did. This last week, the last week anyway, not the, well, it's still going on this week, but last week, I was glued to everything from the TV to my phone, iPad, everything on my hometown, where I came from. Had a huge fire. It was almost to the town. I'm going to burn it up. It's called the Lee Fire and the Elk Fire, but the Elk Fire is on up the river. The Lee Fire, it's now burnt 113,000 acres. I think it might be at 7% contained. Yeah, it's big. I talked to a lot of my friends that still live in Meeker and asked them, you know, first, how are you doing? Are you out? Have you evacuated? No. A lot of them were there. They were there to save their home. You know, a lot of people, they don't know where to go. They don't have a place to go. And this is an area where it is almost 50 miles one way, 50 miles the other way to the next town. So they were setting garden hoses, you know, on the roofs of their houses. They were just kind of hunkered down and staying in because the heavy smoke that had gathered in the whole valley, you know, from the smoke, it was pretty bad. We have a wonderful friend, worked right alongside my husband, that's a pilot, and it was his 12-day rotation of being in his helicopter to be up there. And I asked him, I said, please send me pictures. Please tell me exactly where you are and how bad it is. And he had said on that particular day when he did his, what's called a recon, they go around and kind of survey the whole area, what's going on. He said that there was a 25,000 foot smoke plume that he just saw. That's way up there in the air, isn't it, folks? That's like a jet plane taking off, you know, and they're 25,000 feet up in the air. Yeah, big fire. Talked to another really good friend, and it was 2.5 miles from his house. He had his camper hooked up to his truck and ready to evacuate. He had his horses in the corral. He had his four-wheelers in the corral. He said, I said, I feel so sorry for all the animals. He says, well, funny you should say that, because he said the birds left yesterday. He said they were back that evening, but they left because they know, they can smell it, you know, and they know danger. But he said he had a wild turkey and a chick that was disoriented. And he said he was feeding that and trying to care for the turkey. Terrible on fires. It's just really bad. So that was all of last week, and then the week before. The week before was bad with my fall. And then we had the week and a half now of this terrible fire. I mean, it's fire season, yes, and fires are all over. We have one in Granby. We had one in Dinosaur. We have one down in Pagosa Springs. So they're all around us. And where I live, yes, you can tell. I mean, the air is thick. It looks like kind of like smog. It really does. But it's smoke. And you can, a lot of days you can smell it. But in the town of Meeker, it was raining ash. Yeah. So I've been really diligently, really trying to keep on that and seeing how everybody is and that everything's okay on that. Today I had another experience. So my last video, I told you I'm having a carpenter come, and he is going to build what's called a chicken run, extend my chicken coop out where the chickens can actually get out around the coop and run around, and yet it's all enclosed, and so nothing will get to them. Okay, well, the first guy that I had it all set for him to come and do, he bailed on me. Yeah, he bailed on me. And going back to Arkansas to help his brother build a house or something, and took his 2 weeks notice. And I thought, and yet you said you were coming to my house just in a couple of days. Yeah, and we go and we get all of the lumber and all of the equipment and set it out there by the coop ready for him to come. I was floored. Frantically got on my phone, and I did contact, it was actually my, the guy that poured the concrete in my back patio. he had told me that he could make some phone calls if things didn't work out. So I'm right on it. You know, things aren't working out. He bailed on me. Who else have you got for me? And he came up with a nice gentleman that came over. I think it was in the next night that he came over. And he wanted to know how long the first guy said it would take. I said 16 hours, and that was just an estimate. He just kind of looked at me and shook his head. He says, I'll come, I'll bring 4 guys with me, and he says, and I'll have this knocked out in a day. Wow, I like that. And what he was going to charge me was nothing for, you know, just way, way, way low. And I thought, wow, I really lucked out getting this guy. He has chickens too in a coop. I think he said he had 3. So he really was impressed with all that I had done out there at the coop. And I think he'll work out. I really do. So he was to come. He actually was to come today. Okay, he does work a full-time job. And he did have something else that he was doing. But he is coming Thursday. So Thursday, he will get my chicken coop, the run part of it, all done for me. And then I can let my birds out. So I was contemplating, yes, getting a rooster. Now, a rooster's for a reason. They're to keep my hens in line. They're to keep the other chickens from picking on each other. And I've got a couple of them right now kind of picking on the younger ones. So I've looked all over, folks. I really have. And some of them that I really wanted, I couldn't get right now because I want to wait till the run's done. So I had to kind of pass them over. Some of them were just, and the people were honest. You know, these are mean. I don't want one that's mean. That'll attack me. No, don't want that. Somehow today when I woke up, Facebook Marketplace had a rooster, Anaconda rooster. Beautiful colors. I will show you that in this video. I am going to make a video of walk around my yard for August, and I think I'll do that after the chicken coop run is done and after I get my canopy on my back patio done. All that had to be kind of wait, because of this injury with my leg. Okay. So anyway, I went to this lady's house this morning. And I go through her house. We go to the backyard. She had 2 kind of big dogs. They were fine. And her boyfriend had built the chicken coop. Wonderful job. And then she had enclosed, it almost was like a dog run. It had the pitch on the top, and then it came down. It had a little door. And it did have like some kind of tarp at the back that was gray. And here's all these chickens inside. She's really not supposed to have that many. She has 11. She's in town. She's only supposed to have 6. And definitely has to get rid of the rooster. Okay, she's had some complaints. But I took one look at that rooster and thought, wow, the colors on you are gorgeous. Really, really pretty. All right, so I took several pictures of that. I took a video when the rooster decided to do its cock-a-doodle-doo, so you can hear it. Yeah, it's loud, but I'm a little ways from my chicken coop, so I think I'll be all right. Then in her yard, her boyfriend had done all of this for her. She had had a severe back surgery of her neck, and so she's been kind of laid up too. But off to the side of the chicken coop were all these raised vegetable bins. And oh my gosh, they were just thriving. I mean, she had wonderful bell peppers in there, some other peppers, I don't know if they were hot or whatever, some tomatoes. She had a cantaloupe growing. Yeah, I saw it. About that big. Nice. Then off to the other side of the yard was this underground pond, something I've always wanted. This is a big one. She said it was 6 feet down there. She said when her boyfriend, something that I don't know if he rented it or what, but when he got the little excavator with the bucket, you know, to dig out the hole, somehow it was a big one. tore up the yard, tore up the driveway, even getting it back there. So the hole was bigger than what they kind of wanted it. What are you gonna do? They lined it all with the heavy, heavy plastic paper stuff, or not paper, but it's the plastic, the heavy, almost like a heavy, heavy tarp down in there. And then all these wonderful rocks, stones, everything. And then the back of it was the tiered where the water would fall down over all the rocks. And she had to get the pond just a little bit more with water, which I waited. I videoed it, and I'll show you. It's me talking. It's my husband sitting there talking to her. Nice lady, really nice. And she had the goldfish, the big goldfish in there. One of them looked like a catfish. It really did. And she had lilies growing in her pond that had bloomed. Years ago, when kind of right after I moved into this house, I stumbled across a plastic pond. Well, I got it. Had kind of a pretty little shape to it. I dug out the ground as much as I could just to put the pond down in where it was level to the ground. I put some pretty flagstone around it. My granddaughter at that time, I think she was only maybe 7, 8 years old, something like that. She had a little frog, a little pet frog. She wanted to bring that frog over for the pond. Okay, I'll let her bring that frog over. Was it a frog or a turtle? It was a turtle. That was what it was. It was a turtle. Wasn't that big. Okay. And I don't know. I don't know if my pond had a tiny leak in it. I don't know if it was just way too hot. I put rocks in there so that the little turtle could climb up on it and everything. But anyway, the turtle died, and I felt really bad about it. And I couldn't seem to keep the pond with enough water in it. I really think the heat took a hit on that. So there went the pond idea. This thing was a professional pond that the guy had done. I even looked at her and said, would he come to my backyard and build me one? I'll pay him to do it. Really, I will. I want one so bad. Because the minute she turned it on and had all that water flowing down, it was just as if I was up at my campground that I love so much, hearing all that beautiful creek water splash over all the rocks. It was wonderful. Wonderful. So yeah, that was quite something. So Friday, I pick up my rooster. I'm waiting till the run's done, trying to give it plenty of time. It might even be Saturday, but I'm thinking Friday evening. I'll take the same pet carrier in the truck, and I will go get that rooster, which I probably will call Chester. I have this Chester name in my brain, but I watched all of her chickens. I think so far I've done very well with my chickens. They know me now very well. So that was nice. What else have I done? I went back to my thrift store. Yeah, I did. Years ago, my mother collected that Roseville pottery. And when she died, she had several pieces, and when she died, they were all willed to me. Well, that didn't work out, and they were stolen from me. And I never did get them. So when I was in the thrift store, believe it or not, and this is rare, you hardly ever find them. But what did I see was this beautiful vase. Roseville pottery vase. Yeah. Now, when I turned it upside down, in pencil on the rim, it had the word Mother, 1940. I thought, well, somebody wrote that this was their mother's in 1940, or that she bought it in 1940, or something. I don't know. And I didn't research it like I do normally things for you to give you some information of when the Roseville pottery was made, you know, and where and all of that. But if you find a piece, gosh, get it for yourself. I just fell in love with this one because of the colors. This light, pretty, it's just a soft buttercup yellow, and the rose color down here, almost to a light mauve color. And so I went out this morning and I picked my China roses and I put them in my pretty little vase. That's been my biggest treat this week. It really has. Besides seeing all my ladies at lunch, because that is a treat for me. It is. And we went someplace completely different this time. We actually went to Applebee's. And the only thing I can say about Applebee's is their music's a little loud. It's kind of like Texas Roadhouse. It's just kind of deafening when you really want to sit across and talk with people. But the food was good, and the waiter was fine, more than accommodating, and they didn't mind that we sat there and talked. Even though it takes us a while, by the time we have lunch, have our drinks of iced tea or whatever we're ordering, get the lunch and eat it, we're still talking. By the time you pay for your lunch, it's a time in there. But they didn't care how long we sat there and talked, and that was nice. So yeah, that was a treat. This was my treat. I hope you find a treat during the week or a weekend. Maybe you found something at a yard sale or like this, just a thrift store, that you think, I've never seen anything like, and in good shape. There's nothing wrong with it. Is there not a crack? There's not a chip? Nothing. I was thrilled. Yeah, really thrilled. Yeah, so this is my video for this week to let you know that I'm okay. I do have to wear this knee brace for about another week and use my cane. I do pretty good in the house without the cane or the walker. I really do. I'm just careful about where I walk and all of that. I do get in my hot tub every morning and every night. Ritual. I get in that, and my doctor said to do that. I don't have the swimming pool, so I do get in that for therapy, to really exercise and move that kneecap and the ligaments and everything that are all irritated and agitated, as he called it. So I'm trying to be a good girl and do all of that. And I've been getting really kidded, did you forget how to walk? Maybe, I don't know. I just say it could happen to anybody, and I think it could. I really do. You just sometimes maybe don't pay attention, or like I said, I've gone to that restaurant so many times and walked right over that speed bump. I don't know how many times. But that night with the sun in my face, being distracted eating the fortune cookie, I guess, I don't know. Anyway, I missed a step. When my foot went to go flat and it went up is the problem. And why they don't have it painted yellow or some color is beyond me, really, because I'm sure I'm not the only one that has struggled with that speed bump. Yeah, many years ago I broke my tailbone at a gas station, that the poles by the pumps and the concrete, I don't know, some kind of step where all these poles were towards the pumps, it was all spray painted this silver. And again, the morning sunshine on concrete, it all just blended together. And all I did was, I think, I was backing up to put the nozzle back in its slot, lost my footing, and down I went on my tailbone. That one hurt too. Yeah. So when I stayed in bed for 2 days, I seen it and just elevating it and just, this hurts. I cannot put pressure on this. Before I even knew what I had done really wrong to it. I was watching some videos, and one came up of, like I said, every now and then I like to watch videos that take me completely away from my everyday life, and one of them is a couple, it's a lady that she cooks in the Ukraine. And it's another one like that other one I was watching. I can't remember the name of it, where most of their cooking is outdoors. And, big tables and stuff that the husband makes. And this guy's no exception. I mean, he makes a lot of things, and he just seems to do all the hard work of, they have a huge field, and he will go out with a big long rake, and he's raking up all of that mowed up, I don't even know what it is, because it didn't look like hay or anything like that. It's just kind of grassy stuff into mounds. And then he would take some of that and he would take it over to the stable to feed like his cow or something. Okay, so anyway, she's always going down to the root cellar to get something, a food. vegetables, you know, whether it's potatoes, whether it's apples, whether it's her onions, whatever. Then she brings it all up and from the cellar. And their water situation, they have a well. So their water is to go to the well, put the bucket down in the well, bring up the water, and everything from washing their hands to, you know, she's not at the sink like what we're used to doing of washing off our vegetables and all that and letting the water run and run. No. Water might be scarce. I don't know. They have some kind of, it's green, and it looks like kind of a flat, some kind of a container that has a little spigot on it that's inside the house with a small little basin that sometimes she's in there that she'll barely wash her hands in there or do something, but most of the time everything's outside. But what cracks me up is, and they'll show their chickens, they'll show how they milk their cows, just things that, you know, I don't do every day. No? Feeding my chickens is an experience for me. But it's farm life, you know, in the Ukraine. But what cracks me up with these videos that are so far away and they're doing all this cooking is the amount of cooking that they're doing, the amount of food that they're preparing, and you only see 2 people sitting there eating it. It's like she'll have a huge bowl filled with whatever she's done. Sometimes a couple of little boys that do call her aunt, they'll come over and they'll eat something, but and the stuff looks pretty good. Don't get me wrong. She's made a berry pie, you know, just from like that, raspberries, blueberries, whatever's on their land that they can go out and pick and use. It's really kind of great, it really is. So my walk around the yard of what I do is so simple compared to other people way far away of, you know, that's their livelihood, that's their, how they just do their everyday life. It's different. When I do my walk around the yard, I will show you I have completely picked all of our grapes. We did not get that many this year, but I got a few, and the ones that did fall on the ground or whatever, yes, my chickens love them. The peaches, I have picked several of my peaches that were still, they're not of like at a fruit stand where it's ready that you can eat them. They're still a little bit firm, but you let them rest, you know, on the counter for a few days and they'll be fine. So I did pick them. My tomatoes up back on my tomato plant in my little garden area, I've already picked those and eaten them. What else? I don't know. I'll just kind of show you in August what it looks like. Some things are a little different. Not much, but some things are. But I'm going to wait and show you the whole video, like I said, when I get the chicken run up. Introduce you to Chester. Wait and show you how the project of getting this canopy put up, which older son promises me this weekend he will come down and he will help do that because it's going to take more than one person to do it. And I think I'm going to finally do the barbecue then, that I'll put some spare ribs on and have my salads and different things, you know, while they're working, that the minute they want to stop, they've got some good food to eat. I'll do that. And by the time I get the chicken run, that it's completed and done, I don't have to worry about it anymore. I've got the canopy done. We can enjoy that. Next week I'm having, we kind of forgot, and with me being injured, it's not that I forgot, but I do space things every now and then, even though it was on my phone. We go to lunch with my ladies, and one of the gals, Debbie, it's coming up next week, her birthday, and usually when we go to lunch, if your birthday falls anywhere in that month, you know, we try to pick that particular lunch and sing happy birthday to you and have something for you, whether it's just a card that we pass around, you know, signing it or whatever we do. And somehow we didn't get that done at this last lunch. I sang her happy birthday, I did. The other ones were just jabbering away. So I've decided next Wednesday, that I'm going to have her over here at the house. She wants to see my chickens anyway. So I'm going to have her over. I've already bought her a little cake. Why I didn't bake one? I don't know, other than just a lot of things. Just can't stand on my feet that long. So I bought her a cute little cake that she's going to have, and she'll appreciate that. She will. And just kind of have some quality time with her. Really hear more about her Germany trip would be nice too. So that's next week. So I have something every day, really every day, whether it was having brother come to visit, having another injury, yes, a pain. I did buy, over the weekend, I bought, husband every now and then we like to take a little drive. And we went down the road, not that far, there was an advertisement for some maple trees. And I thought, yeah, that's what I want. I want some maple trees out back by the chicken coop, because in the fall they turn that beautiful red. And that, I want that. So I bought 4 maple trees and 1 chokecherry tree. And I'll plant those as soon as the run is done and my legs a little bit better. So that's why you haven't seen me on Tea Time or even Cooking with Carol Diane, is I've been kind of busy of different things. I am going to come on and do a cooking video. And like I said, look forward to my August walk around the yard. But until then, I hope all of you are still having a wonderful summer, because it is still summer. I hope there's no injuries at your house, that maybe you've had company, or you are going to go see people or whatever, or that you found a little treasure. If you have, let me know. I'd love to know about it. But this is mine this week, and I'll treasure that for a very, very long time. I really will. I cannot believe, like I said, it made it to the thrift store without something on it of some little chip or crack or something, but somehow there it was, clear up on the top shelf in an area that it wasn't supposed to be. It wasn't with all of the vases at all. And I spotted that, and I thought, I know exactly what you are, and I'm going to take you home no matter how much you cost. It was not a half price. It was not a sticker that was on sale or anything. I had to pay the full price for it, but that's okay. It's okay. I wanted it. I'm entitled to that, aren't I? Since I don't have my mother's at all, I think I'm entitled to this beautiful one that I can have for many, many years. So anyway, I want to say that everything's okay now. I hope it is at your house. I've missed all of you terribly. I haven't heard from Sharon back there in Fort Worth, Texas. You better send me an email. And for all my other friends, gosh, I so enjoy your company. I really do. This is from my kitchen, back to years of Tea Time Talk with Diane. I'll catch you another time. Bye-bye.
Maybe he'll do it again.
I'm going to wait a minute. I'm just going to keep it on video and wait. See if he'll do it again.
Blame you. Maybe I'll go over here and scare him. Maybe he will.
She's got a flock, that's for sure. I'm after this rooster. Come on, rooster. Crow again. You can do it. It's a beautiful bird. She has 2 nice little dogs.
Yes. Yes, it's just another.
They're hanging out. And that's the chicken coop where I have just now got my rooster.
It's embarrassing.
I'll pick it up in a couple of days.
Yeah, he's supposed to be a koi.
Supposed to be a what?
A koi. They're all koi, except her. She is a goldfish.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've had her 5 years too. Those were the 2 first fish we had in the house. So.
I love it. I want one so bad.
It's a lot of work. Oh my gosh, it's such a lot of work. We poured concrete all the way around underneath right there to hold the rocks. I'm telling you, it was so much work. It was crazy, but I love it. Once I get done with that thing and get that mess cleaned up, I want to sit out here. They haven't sat out here all summer. We've been.
Yeah, I was just wondering, you know, when I was talking about catfish, I wonder, do you not have a catfish to try to eat a bunch of stuff on the bottom?
Okay, we have what are they called? They're sharks.
Yeah.
What are those sharks called? They're hard to see because they're black and white. Usually, they're hanging out around this thing. I wish you could see one. They'll get huge, but these are only about, I'd say this big.
Yeah.
But they eat all the algae.
Oh,
These, if you don't feed these guys, they eat it all too. But sometimes you just have an issue with the pond, and you start getting a bunch of algae, and this fills up. I mean, yeah, it could be a real pain in the butt sometimes.
So when is it going to have the waterfall? Adding the water?
I need to wait. The water goes up another inch.
Another inch.
I got it on full blast, so hopefully. And I love those almost died because something was wrong with our
those
pond.
little lilies.
Mm-hmm. Everything, a lot of it. That died. The pond just dropped.
I can't remember where I got mine from. Somebody on Patterson Road. She had a whole bunch.
Oh wow.
And I went and got it for my small little pond that I had.
Cool.
But mine never bloomed like that.
Oh, we get some
How do you
beautiful
keep the
blooms.
water contained in there? Is that all concrete, or do you put plastic? Or
It's got the
It's
plastic.
it's got to be a thick
Yeah.
plastic.
Yeah, this is.
But there was a hole. We found out that was leaking down in there, and we lost a whole bunch of water out of the pond. We didn't know where it went. We do now because all this sunk a little, and we still have a lot of work to do. A lot of work, and I got my bench over there. I wanted that to be a cool little spot. We just haven't had time.
You will
to
get
even-
there. I say
Yeah.
the same thing with my
So
projects.
hard.
And then I
know.
took this stupid fall, and it's like, okay, now that had to slow down a little bit.
My
what do
surgery
you do with
a
your
year.
irrigation pump then? Is it?
We're just, we're not going to do anything with that. Just leave it.
It
there.
doesn't operate.
It does.
But you
It's for the front in the yard, front yard and the backyard. Yeah.
does it work?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is this going to come on
built that
automatic, or you
too.
have to do it?
Oh, I have to do it. Let me see. I don't want it sucking too much water down when it goes. Let me go ahead and try it
Yeah,
so you can.
I want to see it.
good.
Yeah,
Full blast.
I do want to see it.
I didn't know the pond was that. It loses about an inch or two a day.
They
as far
got
as
the
water.
same filter that we have on ours.
Yeah.
That canister. The
Uh-huh.
clear. Yeah. I know Jim said he wanted to get one too.
There it comes right now. Oh, I wish I had this in my backyard, somewhere in my yard.
Yeah, he drew this pond and then he built it. Because he's got to have a plan for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have just said, I'm going to do this. And I would have said, oops, forgot to do this.
No, he knows what he's doing.
He does, definitely.
Very much so. So soothing, so pretty. If he,
Slowing down, just under
Yeah.
water.
it's